This week on The Loud Quiet, empty nester summer isn't summering.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to an episode of The Loud Quiet. It's summer. And summer, we're realizing, is, well, actually just a little bit different for empty nesters.
Yes, it is. Sorry, we were laughing before we got on here because
Oh, you want to break the
been a
fourth
day.
wall? We'll break the fourth
No,
wall here a
sure.
little bit. This is our second episode to record, and sometimes we get a little punchy. We had a great guest on before. You'll hear from them in about a month after this releases. She was
Yes,
awesome.
So
But you'll have to stay tuned to find out who she was.
let's talk about how summer is different in the empty nest, at least for us, and I would imagine for most empty nesters. The kids, well, we have one kid here probably for her last summer, but she is doing school and she is working.
Yeah, like she's doing full-on school.
school.
It just happens to be remote. She's choosing to move a semester here in summer.
And she has been, I think, a lot busier than she thought she was going to be with these summer classes. Tanner is doing his summer associate, so he is working. That's why we did our summer vacation early, in May, so that's when we could do it. And now we're working. And I'm like, okay, it's July 9th and it's summer and we're not summering.
And we're not summering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we talk about what is different, what does that mean? What is summering to you? What does that mean?
Well, even when Tanner was in college, before we started this, I was still working. You were still consulting. But my job, I was done by noon.
Mhm.
So I would hang with the kids. Tegan wasn't working yet because she was still doing drill team, which went well into the summer.
Basically, it was employment.
So, what would we do? We would go to the pool. We would go to lunch. We would vacation in the summer because that's when we could vacation. So we were still doing summer. By the time he graduated and started law school and started these summer associates, summer for us really changed. And then that's when we started our business pretty much.
And the summering that you're describing, so much of it is kind of the kids dictated the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked a ton about that in the empty nest, the kids don't dictate the rhythm. But when they would come back, that would kind of influence it. It'd put you in this vacation mindset. And this is the first summer that it feels like we're not in that vacation mindset. And not that we were taking a trip all summer long. I'd love that. But you still had kind of this vacation mindset that maybe evenings were a little bit less structured. Maybe mornings were a little different. And this summer, I mean, we're still kind of doing the 9 to 5.
Yeah, and I guess it's just maybe we're just busier with our business, and the book is finally out, and we're planning things around that. And, we've had some things come up where we're on these morning show spots. We've added a lot of things to our business that we didn't have last summer.
Yeah, but we talk so much about the freedom of the empty nest and all the things
it's not free this summer.
Yeah, and so it's almost like in the empty nest, because there's not the school dictate, that summer was just hot.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing. Is that really it, or is it? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Is this a hiccup, or is this really what summers will be like?
Well, you and I were talking about that. Now, if you watched this week's episode, I can't be outside right now. Anyways, I can't be in the pool because I have incisions that are healing. But I don't want to be outside. It's freaking hot and humid, and
Yeah. So what
you know,
are we just getting
I'm
old and whiny?
well, maybe, but I am medically cleared to walk again. I'm having to walk early in the morning because otherwise you're gonna melt when you go outside. So yeah, I don't necessarily want to even be out in it because it's so
You
hot.
know, I've mentioned talking about the ticket. That's for those that aren't from the Dallas area. It's a radio station's been around for decades now. It's sports, but it's also lifestyle. And there was a conversation that the morning host, they have a podcast called the Musers Podcast, and they were talking about favorite seasons of the year. And they got into a conversation on, do we romanticize summer because it's holiday from school in our minds? Forget our kids, forget
Mm,
you,
yeah.
me, Clancy, our kids, our own minds. Do we romanticize summer because it's just away from school? Or those that say summer is their favorite season, is it really their favorite season? And I'm sitting there on the treadmill listening to it, and I'm thinking, I don't know that I know the answer to that.
You know, I love summer. I have always loved summer because I felt like summer slowed down. And I think exactly what you're saying.
Hmm.
But this summer, for some reason, I feel like it's ramped up. And it's also things that we have added to our own plate. And I think the World Cup being on has added some things in there, albeit fun things. I feel like there's been events that we've been getting to. Let's get to our trip. Let's get to
Well, pick up Tegan first.
the, yes, pick up Tegan. Let's get to our trip. Let's get to the week of medical stuff that we have. Let's get to Clancy's surgery. Let's get to the World Cup game that y'all were going to that took so much planning logistically to get around to. Then, since then, it's been World Cup has been on TV. Well, now that has drastically dropped because we're down now to what, 8 teams left.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I think we're starting to settle into, there's not that to take up the time.
It's certainly, yeah, like the first part of the summer for us was one of those that absolutely had a lot of scheduling to it that now we don't necessarily have. So maybe that is part of the, does it feel different to be in the summer in the empty nest? Because now we do have this empty space. I want to go back to talking about that, the romanticizing of summer versus was it really actually great? Because I was thinking about my answer to that, and growing up, you know what I remember about summer, other than being out of school, is I had camps. There were Boy Scout camps. There was Camp Longhorn. There was choir tours. So we would be taking that trip. And I know your church growing up, y'all did a choir tour as well. And then I remember in my mind, I remember spending all my time on the lake. And of course, that probably wasn't true, but I kind of think I mean, we really were on the lake almost all the time. Well, we don't have the boat. We don't have the lake. You and I aren't going to camps. We aren't doing those sort of things. So is that why summer is so romanticized, because of what we did back then as kids, and we carry that forward with this expectation of summer's going to be this just amazing thing, when really now as empty nesters we're just getting old and cranky and we just want our AC and darkness.
I don't want darkness, but
I don't either. I love being outside. You know that I went out running in the heat this morning.
oh yeah.
So
I think too, it's just the heat did not used to bother me. The heat did not. I would much rather be hot than cold.
preach.
But this summer, for some reason, it has beat me down. And I don't know if it's because, like we talked about, I am trying to protect myself so much from the sun. Whereas even last summer, we'd be out in the pool, you know, weekends.
I would not be sitting upstairs right now. I would be floating in the pool right now.
And so I don't know if that, because that would take up a lot of our time. We would be in the pool.
Take up our time like it's
And
something productive.
well, so I don't know.
Cue the
And
Vivaldi.
the other thing is, if you live in the area we live in, you're going to be attacked by mosquitoes the second you walk outside when it's the nice time to be outside.
Yeah.
So, yes, okay. Yeah, we've griped a lot. I think we're also finding that we are doing fun things like Monday night. We went down to Dallas and met Tanner and all of his friends to watch the USA World Cup game. Because we are empty nesters and because we have the business that we have together, we could leave early and go to the place that we wanted to go and commandeer tables 2 hours before the game even started to make sure we had enough space for 12, 15 people. I don't even remember how many ended up coming because they are all still, doing their jobs. So we do have the benefit of doing that. But then we got home at 10. And
I
what
still
did we
have my
do?
alarm set
I
for
know.
5:40. I think that's something that, you know what school holidays do? And again, it's not about our kids, it's about us as kids, what it shaped. It forced that productivity break. And then as adults, and not I know folks listening have jobs that don't have the same flexibility that ours do. You're still expected to go. There is no summer break, basically. And there's a part of me that's thinking that the summer productivity dip, well, maybe that should be more ensconced in our world, right? We've got other cultures that shut down an entire country for a month, it seems like. And even me, who control our schedule, still set an alarm at 5:40 to get up after an evening out. It's like we have this productivity addiction that we just can't turn off, even when we can.
Well, and it's not even that. I get up earlier now than I did when I was going into a physical gym to teach classes.
Uh-huh.
Why did that happen?
I asked that question too.
I know, but I get up when you get up now, which I'm like, when did this shift happen? Because, and I don't know, but I like that schedule. But why do I like that schedule? And then by
I think we're getting into
4 o'clock, I'm sitting back there falling asleep.
Yeah, we're getting into why old people eat at 4:30 in Florida. We cannot live that lifestyle, and I refuse to live that lifestyle.
You and I were so mad last night because Tegan wanted to go get hibachi, which great. Another thing, having your children back home in the summer is you do a lot more eating out than you
they'll
normally
say,
do.
"Hey, I want to go do."
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's go. So she was out with her friends all day. Great. She only had like 1 day off this week. Perfect. So I said, hey, you will be back for dinner, for us to go out. Yes. So I'm sitting there. It's like 5:30, which is normally when I get up and start cooking dinner, which is even a little later. I like to eat between 5:30 and 6. That's when
We'll have a separate
eat.
conversation about that.
That is when we usually eat anyways. And so it's like 6 o'clock. She's in another city. I'm like, are you coming? Oh, yeah. I'm about to like gnaw my arm off. So
because you're not being fed by 6:15, and in your mind and a little bit in my mind, it's we were already planning to go to dinner at 7, and now we're going to have to go later than 7 o'clock.
No, I was planning to go to dinner at 6 o'clock. Who said 7? We never said 7.
And yeah, exactly that. Now we're more so. Forget summer for a second. We're evolving into the retired crowd that eats way too early and gets up way too early and falls asleep in the chair. I don't want to be that. So we need to reclaim summer. We need to reclaim that empty nesters get a summer too.
Okay. How are we going to do that?
We are going to stay up till 10:07 tonight.
We've been doing that anyways. No. Pass. Okay, what's next?
We are going to go to the lake.
Pass. What lake is around here that you want to go to?
We're going to reclaim summer by, you know what, by reclaiming the freedom that we've declared that we have as empty nesters. And if we don't want to get up at 5:40, then by golly, we don't get up at 5:40. If we want to shut down at a different time, if we want to eat at 2, if we want to eat at 9, we can do whatever we want.
Okay, well, I will veto the eating at 9 because on Monday night, when we were down there, it was, again, so hot. We were outside. I didn't want to eat anything. It's just still hard to eat. So what did I have for dinner? Me and 3 of the other girls, I was like, I'm going to get gelato. And they're like, I'm coming with you. And so we went and got gelato for dinner. So I guess, hey, that's reclaiming summer.
That is.
I had gelato for dinner.
I think
It's like the ice cream truck coming down the street and you have it for dinner. I reclaimed summer on Monday.
I think so. You got your gelato, and you're right. That's something that Teague and I love to do. We go to Brahms, and we sit in the back of my truck and eat ice cream in the back of the truck and enjoy that. The summer beach read is another thing that's out there. And so if y'all are so inclined and interested in a beach read, I have one that I would recommend. And it is the Loud Quiets book. You can get that over at theloudquiet.com. It's available at Amazon. If you then head back to the Loud Quiet, you'll be able to get the free bonuses associated with the book as well.
Yeah. So what does y'all's summer look like? Are you feeling like it is summer, or are you feeling like it's just a continuation of the regular year going on?
Do you know a difference between July and March other than temperature, or is it really different for you?
And, I will say, though, it is nice that we are not tied to having to travel in the summer. And we have some trips planned in September and October, and we can go when we want to go, which is very nice. And I don't know that I would trade that freedom of the empty nest for having the freedom in the summer.
I want both.
Well, I'd like the freedom of maybe loosening up the schedule a little bit in the summer, but I don't know that we're going to get that because we have things to do.
We have things to do. Okay.
So share with us if you
have things to do.
No, just share with us what your summer is looking like. We're halfway through, and for some of you who still have kids that are either going back to school, or some of you may have one in college and some still in high school. I mean, they're pushing those dates back earlier and earlier, so your summer may be getting close to the end. Just drop us a note on our community. You can find all the information at theloudquiet.com, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of The Loud Quiet.